on anybody. I kept my mouth shut. Like, I just bottled everything in. And I would cry literally every night. I would call my mom or call my sister, and I would cry myself to sleep every night because of the things that they were saying about me. Yeah. Like, being a superintendent, you're the leader, right? If you're talking behind another supervisor's back, saying that she's not supposed to be here, she doesn't belong here, you're racist. Period, point blank, you are. Because just because I don't look like you, just because I don't learn like you, you push me aside and you put me in this corner. And that's what they did my entire time there.
How long?
2 years. 2 years. They fought me on everything. And I'm not, I don't want pity. I don't want, this to come off like a negative type of interview, but things needed to be said. Like, I'm happy that I get the opportunity to, like, say it. But it's hard.
To the part where, back to your senior year. Well, and Phil, if you could, like, if you talk to seniors or talk to college students, would you say that where you live can determine your happiness at your first job in corporate America?
Yeah. I think a lot has to do with, where you're placed at for your first position. I'm trying to think of the word. But like, yeah, what is the word that I'm looking for?
Location.
Okay, yeah, that's. Location has a lot to play in to your career life. I feel like if you can have that work-life balance, they always preached, work-life balance. And where I worked at was a 24-hour type of facility. So some days I worked 7 days a week if nobody wanted to step up and work the weekends. But where I was living at wasn't a place geared towards, like, recent college grads, young people. It was a place for families where you will raise a family at, where you will get married, where you have, babysitters right, in your neighborhood. Like, kids can play together outside and not worry about shootings or, whatever. But it was a nice, small community that everybody knew everybody, right? But it wasn't geared towards recent college grads. Like, that
or
wasn't...
Black people.
Or black folks.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a place for that. So I think that played a big factor. I'm not going to say, I don't know, like, just ruined my experience as, like, for my career. I'm not going to say that, but it played a major factor in my career, I would say, because I wasn't happy outside when I was off. All I did was stay at home and watch Netflix. Like,
because there wasn't no social.
It wasn't like a social nightlife or somewhere where I can just, like, go to the bar or, go to the mall or just walk around. Like, it wasn't that type of environment for me. So I was lonely and I got depressed. And I was in a deep, like, depression type of, I don't know, feel like. And the only time that I would be excited was when I would go on trips. Like, I would go visit my sisters in New York. Like, when I had time off, when I occurred, comp days and vacation days, I would go to Atlanta. I would go to New York and just, like, I could just sit on the couch at my sister's house and I will be the happiest. And, like, when I took trips, when I used to travel, like, I was so happy. But then when I got back on that plane and I touched down in Minnesota, like, it was just like a dark cloud. Like, you got to go back to this depressing.
And not to kill the state of Minnesota, but the specific rural city that
I was in.
So being in a rural city, coming from college, you see dollar signs, and you're like, I need something you need and want the money. It's a mixture of the both, right?
Yeah.
And then
Like I put all these years in at school. Now it's time for me to make money.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for me to put what I learned into like my career, right? And move up and make money and start living my best life.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't work like that. I had a learning, I will say it was a learning experience coming out of college for my first career choice.
Do you think if you had studied up on the locale situation, the city itself, and realized it wasn't going to be conducive for a work and then a social life outside of work, you would have still moved there?
No.
So
I would
as
have
a
declined.
student, you think students that are going to their career fields, they should look at the city they're moving at very hard.
Yeah. If there's, I would say reach out to, if they're like alumni there,
Mm-hmm.
I would reach out and be like, hey, how are you liking it? Like, of course, if there's alumni there, you probably would be happy. You know, you got somebody with you. That's how I was, but I worked second shift, so I really couldn't hang out with him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that played a factor into it too. But as like you're choosing a career, you know, and they offer you a position in like maybe like a small town or wherever you go.
No matter how much money.
No matter how much money they offering you, make sure that it's for you. If you go there for an on-site interview and you don't feel a good connection with that when you walk through the doors of that company, or even like when you driving around the city, like if you don't get a good feel for it, don't take it. Don't waste your time. Don't waste their time, because you're going to be put in a position where you feel like you have to stay. Like this is the only thing that you can do. And I wasn't settling. That's the thing. Like some days I would walk in there, I'll be like, and they would ask me, how are you? I'm content. I'm content with everything. Like I'm just going through the motions right now. And whenever my friends would ask me like, how's your job going? How's your job going? The first thing that would come out my mouth, oh, they pay me good. I get paid every week. I get paid good. Like I can buy anything I want to, but what do they say? Like money can't buy happiness, right? Mm-hmm. Like, yes, money is good. And yes, I can go to the mall and I can cash out whenever I wanted to, but I wasn't happy. I didn't get to show off my clothes unless I was like going home or going out of town, which I didn't really travel that much when I was with that job. But, you know, college students, when, you know, that senior year, when you're thinking about choosing a company to go to, just research, ask around, like, hey, what is there to do? Is there a college type of based life here, like for recent college grads? Like, what's the social, what's the nightlife?
You know, a young adult life.
Yeah. So that's something that I should have done, and I'm hoping that this will help not only like Tuskegee students, but other universities and other students coming out of college to, you know, narrow it down like, okay, I have this job offer. What should I do? Should I take the job, or should I pursue something else?
A lot of the problems at your work could have been fixed with positive communication. How hard is it to connect with somebody on a personal level at work, just on a regular basis, like on a blank slate?
Like on Monday, how was it like communicating with somebody?
Trying to, even that first day, trying to connect with somebody or communicate, and then trying to communicate with somebody that you feel doesn't understand you as a person, and you feel you're getting vibes from that. You don't feel like they want to connect with you.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely hard. I think that, they couldn't really relate to me because they don't face, you know, different situations that I have to face in life every day when I walk out the door, or when I go to a restaurant. Like, they don't have to face or go through what I go through because of the way that I look. So right there was a wall that was already built up, or they just didn't know how to interact with me on that level. They didn't know how to be receptive or empathetic towards me in that way, or trying to like nurture me or mold me into something that I can be.